in the window of an indie bookstore. See, now don't get me wrong, I know the evil shit Amazon has going on, but you wanna know why they got where they are? Because people who want to sell books ripped me off for years. I'm Australian and as a kid was an avid reader. Too bad we had a law saying that if an Australian publisher for a book existed, bookstores had to buy from them and not anybody internationally. Result was those publishers were glorified middlemen who bought the rights to the bestsellers overseas and then sold them at a premium. $40 plus for a hardback or $30 for paperback was a lot of fucking money for a kid back then. But, fuck you. Pay me. Well, then came Amazon and I went fuck you and started shipping from the States directly. So much cheaper. Finally came e-readers and I could have a book for a few dollars instantly. These businesses crying poor as they struggle to keep up with a massive multinational soulless corporation didn't seem to care when I couldn't afford to shop there. Now they demand I pay them a premium so they can stay in business. The time to meet me in the middle was 20 years ago and you didn't. Now I don't care. Yeah, younger Bezos, if you watch the interview, is clearly enthusiastic about getting books in people's hands and making a nice, but not astronomical, profit off it. It was all about supply chain efficiency and getting things to customers faster and cheaper. His company has now evolved into a monstrosity, but that's what it was initially, the cool new alternative that didn't charge outrageous prices. The person who made the poster probably felt super good up on their pedestal. I spend too much time around 20-something woke folk and roll my eyes at the lack of thought that goes into the things they say. I've learned that disagreeing unleashes a torrent of whataboutism, so I do my best to avoid that. Same with conversation with the far right. Edit, the above comment is neither left nor right. Don't assume I'm supporting your ideology. This happens a lot with board game stores. I'm not above paying even $20 more for a board game if I'm buying it from a store that'll actually spend time in. Most board game stores around where I am might as well only sell MTG cards. I get that it brings in the money, but they have no events for board games, no D&D Adventurers League, even through their listed on Wizard's site, and their service is pretty hit or miss. I get the sentiment, but it doesn't work. People act in their own best interest, and your business failing isn't the responsibility of other people simply because they share a zip code. One of the very first questions someone needs to ask when choosing what business, product, and location is who are the competitors. If you can't beat the competition, the business is pointless and a waste of your money and life. A business should entice me to shop there, rather than try and tell me not to shop at some other business and end up there by default. Reddit doesn't like the rich. The definition of what constitutes rich changes from day to day, mind you, whether it's billionaires, multimillionaires, millionaires or even upper middle class incomes. But usually it's anyone who has more money than me specifically. However, if they say I don't like rich people because they have more money than me, you may sound petty and jealous. But if you say I don't like the rich because I care about poor people and the downtrodden or small businesses, you sound like you're righteous and caring, but the same hatred is there. It's just under the guise of virtue now. I work for a Friends of the Library organization and we have a store on Amazon to sell the valuable books that people donate. Yeah, Amazon gets a cut. Our contractor that lists the books for us gets a cut. We still make a bunch of dollar that is all used in our community to fund library expansion and programs like tutoring, book clubs, crafts for kids, ESL, etc. We are a non-profit. I love local bookstores, but this is not all about local versus Amazon. Next time you are looking to buy a used book online, look at who the seller actually is. I don't buy from Amazon anymore because they're a terrible company, but that doesn't mean I'll just automatically shop anywhere else. I'm paying more, so give me a reason to go to your store. Harassing me to buy a membership or trying to upsell me on something anytime I buy something is a great way to ensure I never come back. If I buy books from your website that not only charges more than Amazon, but also charges for shipping and the book arrives in damaged condition, that's another way to ensure I won't buy from you again. 100% this. Amazon sucks at shipping books about 75% of the time. $100 plus hardcover book. Let's toss in a single airbag to the flimsiest box you've ever seen. Every book labeled as a paperback seems to come in a bag mailer. It's pretty ridiculous, but Amazon will take care of you by getting you a replacement, often the next day, with minimal hassle. I've bought books from other sites that have been the only place I can find a book. Prices are high, they take a week to ship, and the item comes in a similarly oversized box without any protection. And good luck getting any resolution from that seller. Even big-name sellers like Task can ship terribly. Others use polybags and the slowest shipping method possible. I'll stick with Amazon as long as they're the fastest, cheapest, and take care of you, regardless of what they use that money for. Nothing wrong with the idea of moon colonization, and the invention of Kindle has actively increased the number of book readers, by making the hardware a one-time investment after which openly available e-copies become incredibly accessible. Internet Archive. There are reasons to shit on Bezos, anti-union etc., but mu nostalgia isn't one of them. Now, I feel like if you're an avid literary enthusiast, you should encourage people to read by any means, not just buying from your overpriced indie place. If Jeff Bezos can get me any book I want for under $10 in 2 days, I don't really care what he turns around and does with my money. I got my product. The following things would need to happen to get me back as a return customer. 1. Sell comparably priced Kindle-compatible ebooks from an online version of your store, and I might stop supporting Bezos. 2. Reduce your outrageous markups on physical books, and maybe I might stop supporting Bezos. 3. Carry a decent selection of interest to the LGBTQ+ community, both fiction and non-fiction, and have more than one shelf dedicated to science, and I might stop supporting Bezos. 4. Stop wasting time at checkout trying to upsell crap I don't want, and/or membership to some stupid store club, and I might stop supporting Bezos. 5. If your store has a small inventory, and if we don't have it, we'll order it for you business model. You can't compete with Bezos. Sorry. Not quite the answer to your question, but anyone else looking for a bookseller and not necessarily brand new books, Better World Books is amazing. I've bought shit tons from there before and I've never been disappointed. The other reason I use them is because for every book bought, they donate a book to a child less fortunate than those who can just buy one. I think it's a cool philosophy for bookstore. Maybe it's partially because I'm European, but I don't get the Amazon fetish here, especially from Americans. They literally act like there's no other online shop out there. This isn't what online retail was supposed to be about. It was supposed to allow tiny online stores the ability to compete with big ones on a somewhat level playing field, not a market dominated by single company monopoly, or oligarchy, supplying every single product in every single market. And besides the fact that they treat their employees like dirt, dodge taxes and use their might to demand special treatment from governments and local authorities, they're totally unethical in their sales practices. For starters, there's an obvious unfair advantage for them that they're both a store and platform for other vendors. It's so corrupt and monetized that it's not even a good place to shop. Between the Amazon choice bullshit and sponsored results and whatnot, it's just not a good site to find stuff in my experience. I live in Europe too. Amazon has a huge catalog with next or same-day delivery available with Prime. Every other online shop, other than clothing stores, ASOS, either only ships in 3-5 days or they offer next day but for like £10 per order, and the cut-off time is probably super early. We can argue about whether consumers should expect such lavish convenience as the norm given the environmental and social impacts. But to say Amazon isn't special or advantageous over small online stores is just not true. I mean, I agree with you, but let's not pretend that Amazon isn't an easy and convenient way to buy lots of stuff. Yes, when you care about details and the quality of something, it's often not the best place, but for everyday things and mass-produced items it's by far the easiest and most reliable option I'm aware of. That said, I'd much rather buy a book from an actual bookshop, but that's because browsing bookshops is an enjoyable experience. One morning I woke up at 4:30 a.m. to get ready for work. I noticed all of my undershirts had little holes in them and were way past their shelf life. So, sitting on the edge of my bed, I opened the Amazon app and searched for undershirts. I found my size. Price was less than I normally pay at Cole''s/Walmart and placed an order. Those shirts were on my doorstep when I got home that evening. Saved me the time dealing with a retail shop. After working a long day, time is money, and Amazon saves me time. I honestly don't care about the people shouting about Amazon. They hire unskilled laborers to perform the work they do. People with unmarketable skills shouldn't fucking complain that they don't make enough. Anyone is able to start up an online shop, sell on eBay, Amazon, etc. But the problem is that many of them do it so badly that you wouldn't want to give them any of your money. Taking a week to ship, charging much higher prices, shipping in a bagged mailer, charging shipping. If Amazon will get it to me tomorrow, cheaper, and with free shipping, that's who I'm ordering from. If Joe's Books was selling what I wanted at a reasonable price, I'd totally order from there, but they don't. Only problem with this anti-Amazon message is that over half the products sold through Amazon are from small businesses. If you want to help small, medium businesses when you purchase on Amazon, just check to see who the seller is. If it's Amazon, pick a different seller on that same listing and buy it knowing you're supporting a small business. As someone who buys a lot of books, mostly from Amazon, I don't really care too much what Bezos does with his money. I've been to many indie bookstores and in almost every case, nobody there cared one bit about helping find anything. Books were often very small in selection, disgusting and tossed onto wooden shelves that appeared to be from the 1800s, and prices were marked up well above Amazon, and often above resale price. Lots of support local businesses signs and tip jars at the counter. What do they do with the money? I don't know and don't really care. Again, feel free to do what you want with your money. If you want to go to space, have it. But with my money, I'd rather support whoever gets me what I want at the cheapest, easiest or in best condition. And when that's Amazon, so be it. Boo. These local bookstores are completely dependent on non-local publishers. Amazon has done more for indie writers than any of these indie bookstores. And what have these local bookstores done to pay back the community aside from charge higher prices? If I can save money buying books from Bezos, and if even 1 cent goes to improving space exploration, I'm all for it. For what reason? Anti-capitalist sentiments like this are baseless. Yet so many cheer them on with no personal reason for doing so. Everyone benefits from the privatization and subsequent competition of space travel. If you don't understand why or how, just be thankful for the fact that you're reading this on a device which wouldn't have been possible without technology first discovered by NASA. During a time where the implications of their discoveries were still completely unknown, deficit hawks were breathing down their necks talking about unnecessary spending, and liberals were making the same arguments they're making today. Space travel breeds innovation, which in turn betters the world more than any quarterly earnings report ever could. So no, actually, I'd rather give my dollars to the guy who better knows how to make something of them. Thank you very much. I'm not really sure what they are referencing, but it makes me want to buy books from whoever they are talking about. Colonizing the moon feels way more important to me than if the person checking me out is a bookworm or not. Edit. I see. Didn't know Jeff wanted to colonize the moon. Is this a part of him wanting to move polluting industry to space? Though, what if I wanted progression at some level to be able to colonize the moon? What if I collected books without the paper, without being a librarian, simply because I didn't like the smell of old books as you did? Print is print. Finding originals will be simply for that case. If you're trying to open a store amidst the age of digitalization where we're still figuring out what we save in history, well then I see you found your proper opponent. See, I'm not supporting Bezos and Amazon. Heavens no, I'll be the first in line to eat the rich when the time comes. But, It's important to note that Bezos' wealth doesn't necessarily come from Amazon shopping. Sure, it's slightly profitable, but its main profit comes from Amazon Web Services, AWS. That means that while shopping on Amazon isn't your best option, it isn't your worst either. Support your local bookshop, but also remember plenty of small businesses sell their products through Amazon. There is a certain appeal of going to a bookstore and be able to pick up a book you like and just read some pages to see if it entices you. Here in Shenzhen there is a bookstore chain where their bookstore's entrance are modeled as the old UK ones. 2 big windows ceiling to floor with a door and a bell. I like to go there and go into the coffee shop they have, order a coffee and just sit on a table while reading a book you bring or choose. You can't get that with Amazon, that's for true. But if you look at the prices online, they are higher than the ones online in shops from Taobao or JD. I understand that the higher prices are because they need to pay for location, people and license. While big retailers online also pay for the same, but their warehouses don't only carry books, they carry everything and some more, so everything gets diluted in the bigger scheme, making the product cheaper. Also, by being online they have a bigger selling potential, as everywhere they can ship than a local shop who only have a set clientele size, and by having a so broad reach of potential customers they are able to get deals with publishers because of said reach. Also, the display size is basically infinite online, who makes that they can carry any book, regarding of their popularity now or age. While in bookstores the physical space is limited to the size of the shop and some books that are not popular anymore or too old have to be removed to get space for new titles. Also, the advent of e-books and audiobooks also entice people who don't want to buy physical books because of lack of physical space to store them or environmental reasons. While audiobooks cater to the customer who is busy and can't sit to read a book most of the time, that kind of clientele a traditional bookstore can't fulfill. My wife is mostly e-book, but I prefer the physical action of holding a book and just go through the pages. It would sadden me if bookstores would disappear tomorrow since I use them, but I see the enticement of online retail, being by price or variety or even convenience. My experience with local bookstores went like, are you going to buy something? If you're not, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Or hi, I'm looking for title, by, artist. What we have is on the shelves. Do you guys order stuff for customers? What we have is on the shelves. Barnes & Noble has always been pretty good to me, though. They'll always check stock or order something for me unless that book is out of print or something. Here's the thing, I don't want to buy from Amazon, I really don't, but just like my job only buying Nestle water when it's 120 plus on the floor, I don't have a choice. If I don't want to drive an hour to possibly find what I'm looking for in a brick and mortar, I'm not getting anything quickly. You know how hard it is to find specific machine parts, metric hardware, tools when the only places near you are Ace Hardware and Walmart? I love the sentiment, and I try my damnedest to buy locally, but TBH 9 times out of 10 they don't have what I want in stock, and to top it off they order from the Twilight Zone where it somehow takes 8-10 weeks to get to the store. Okay, maybe not weeks, but seriously days, and on top of that you have to drive back to the store. Then there is the local store tax, which can be incredibly hefty at some stores. This isn't just with books either. This is with all kinds of goods at all kinds of stores. Just remember, when you buy from Amazon you aren't just funding moon colonization for the boss, but you are also keeping me and 499,999 other working class Americans employed. We need that check just like independent bookstore employees. Amazon shuts down in my town. There is nowhere close where I make any more than $5 less per hour on shed benefits. I buy books from whatever retailer has the book I want in stock. Usually, that's Amazon. Just because they're so huge, they have that advantage. I can't really think of a reason why to go into a physical store, look around, have them order it, and wait for it. Particularly not a small bookstore. If it's specialty and I need it in hand same day, Sure, I might go pick up a religious text as a gift for someone celebrating a sacrament, but for the average novel or reference text, Amazon is just way more convenient.